Hey guys, it's Eagle again, and welcome back to another episode of Nomifactory. Today, goal's very simple. Let's start working our way through the quest book some more. In the time between episodes, I finished crafting the remaining crafting stations, as well as got a fairly good supply of magnetite. At least for the time being, I wasn't even close to depleting that original vein that we saw in the last episode. But that's a good thing, so I know we're gonna need some more. Also, if you noticed, I don't have the texture pack on anymore. I want to talk about that. I think I like the shaders for now, but the problem I'm having with the texture pack is that some of the ores look different in the world than they do in my inventory, which is making it hard for me to know what ore is what, and many of them look the same. For instance, the coal veins and the magnetite veins look identical, so it's making it hard for me to figure out what is what. So I don't know if any of you guys have an idea on how to fix that. If you have any suggestions, let me know, because if not, I'm most likely just going to stay on the default texture pack that we're on now, so I can actually learn what things look like. Now back into the base here, our little cave starter base. I want to go ahead and take a look at the quest book and kind of give us a little bit of a direction on what we should be doing today. I made a little bit of a to-do list on things that I want to accomplish in today's episode. It's about 7 long, and we'll try to get through all of them, and I think we'll be able to, as long as we go ahead and get started here. Let's take a look at the quest book, and here's the thing. I completed a couple of those quests. Like I said, I completed this batch crafting quest by crafting all the crafting stations. This says 3 out of 4 because I placed one, so I don't have 4. I didn't have 4 in my inventory, but we're going to go ahead and claim our Nomi nickel. Drawers here, we made a couple drawers to put in our cobblestone from mining. But the main thing I want to focus on today is hitting these branching quests coming off of the Some Starter Tools quest. Mainly the more materials. I want to collect a lot of redstone, copper, tin, and gold. Gold we already have, just from the magnetite vein. It has gold in that. So the tin, copper, and redstone, we'll have to use our prospector scanner to check that out and see where we're at. Another thing I want to do while I am checking for stuff is check for diamonds, because I want to be able to repair our diamond mining hammers. But before we do any of that stuff, I want to go around the city around us and just kind of loot some chests and collect some bookshelves and get some anvils so we can use those to repair our tools for the future. And sometimes you can find some pretty good loot in those chests, and I want to go ahead and get started on that. We can get ourselves some stuff that we may not be able to craft at the current time. So let's go ahead and start a little journey, collect a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna make an iron axe here, start chopping down some bookshelves. Oh, go. Oh, hello. Now that we've got that out of the way, a little bit of exploration, made it back to the crib, and took a lot of those bookshelves and the enchantment table that we found, and we set ourselves up with a little bit of an enchantment setup. And we don't really have the levels that we need right now to get going with that, but first thing I'm doing is enchanting one of these diamond mining hammers when I get to level 30. Shouldn't be too far away, but I just thought this was a good thing to do just because I want to utilize as much of the diamond mining hammers as we can. Put all the extra stuff in here that we got as well. Before the end of this episode, I definitely want to make some more of these storage crates and get those set up in here. And we'll see what that looks like. But I think for the time being, the next thing I want to do, go ahead and check the quest book. Let's complete this one from getting an anvil. And mining hammers, okay. Basically saying you can craft them with any material that we find. Very good. Completing some stuff here. I'll come back through and do all those. Now, vein mining trees. This is something that I wanted to do. So we want to look at the wrought iron axe here. Let's find the recipe for it. Okay. And let's go ahead and do that, because apparently it's basically just like vein mining, but you can I could chop down this entire tree. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let's we got the tools in here. We're gonna put in the plate recipe. Boom, and we want to lock that recipe in here. If you shift left click on the recipe inside of this crafting station, it'll lock it. So we're gonna make that recipe, and now we want to look for this wrought iron, and we just need a stick, which is easy enough. But let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now we have that. Now I want to go back in here. Craft the wrought iron axe. We don't need to lock that. I don't think we'll make too many of those, but it's just good to kind of know of that. Okay, let's go ahead and try this out. I'm interested to see how this is going to work. This guy's trying to hide out back here. He did not have any of that. So I planted these in kind of like a checkerboard pattern, so I'm not sure if it's really going to work, but we'll see. Oh, it's looking like it's working. Okay, that's awesome. Very nice. That is awesome. Well, that's going to save us from spending too much time collecting wood, if that's going to be that easy. It did use, looks like a little bit over a third of our durability, which I guess is to be expected. It's like the first or the lowest tier that you can craft. So I'm sure there's some other ones that are insane. I'm sure we'll get to a point where we won't even need to do this. But in case we ever needed to get charcoal, this seems like an easy way to do that. And speaking of chopping trees down, something that I know we are going to need in the future is some rubber trees. And I don't remember seeing any, but I think we can explore around a little bit in these woods nearby and find some. But we're definitely going to need some rubber trees, and we're going to want to set up another similar setup to this, but with the rubber trees. Let's go ahead and try to find some of those. I feel like going into these trees here is the best bet. Get on top of the hill. Maybe we'll be able to see something. I think I know what they look like. For some reason, I feel like I remember seeing one. Keep on the lookout here. Well, I'm just going to stop it here because who knows how long it's going to take for me to find one. But I will just get back to you whenever I do find one. Okay, found some. It's not in the greatest spot, but this is a rubber tree. And we just kind of got to hope. Oh no, all the leaves are here and they're not going to decay. So I guess we need to try to chop all these down, because we really need the rubber sapling. Oh, looks like we have one here. I think we're going to need more than that, but I think one is sufficient for now. We can replant it and hope that we can keep multiplying it from there. Now, one thing that is in the pack that I found out from reading through the quest book is you can use set home even in single player. So I can do /home and teleport back, and I think that's just a good thing to use to save me some time. I mean, I don't think it's too cheaty. It's just traveling around. So it'll just save me a little bit of time. Okay, so now that we're out here, let's go ahead and find a spot for this rubber tree. We'll just say right here. good start. Try to get that thing to grow, and we'll just over time multiply that out, because big thing we are going to need sticky resin. I think we're going to need a lot of this. Part of the quest book is for these rubber sheets. We can go ahead and start going down this quest book now, or this side of the quest book. Let's collect this first. And what do we need here? Rubber sheets. We need 3 of them. Okay. Okay, so there's a few ways you can make these, but I think the rubber tree is probably the easiest. But let's see. How do we craft that? So it's just basically making a plate, but with the resin. So let's go ahead and do that. I have a feeling we need to lock that recipe. I don't know. We're going to have a few of these, but let's go ahead and make some of those. Boom. And sometimes I notice you have to kind of like exit out and then it'll show up. I'm not sure why, but we got the perfect amount that we needed. Just lock that for the time being. I think that should be, yeah, should be everything. Perfect. All right, and then the soft mallet. What is this used for? Temporarily stop a machine from functioning. This is useful when you have 2 machines running and both are... Okay, so when you can't have more than 1 machine working at the same time, you can use one to turn it off. Okay, I don't know if that'll be useful, but I assume it will be since they're asking me to craft it. Rubber bar, is that the one they're wanting me to make? Okay, well, it doesn't look like that's the one. So maybe we just make the wood soft mallet first. I think that's maybe that's what that's asking for. So let's just go ahead and craft a wooden soft mallet. That should work. I guess we'll just put that in here with these tools. I don't really know. I don't really know what else there is, but that is good. So we're making some decent progress now. Okay, so kind of got those things done. I think we can kind of work our way down south here into this more materials task. Now, I think this is a pretty important one. This is kind of getting you familiar with all the different veins that exist in the world, and collecting a few of these materials. So we have the gold already. Like I said in the last episode, we just gotta smelt this up. We can find that. We found that a lot in the magnetite veins. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my prospector here, find those veins, and then I'll just show a small clip of me mining a few of those things, and I'll come back when I have all those materials. Now that we have all the materials that we needed to complete that quest, go ahead and grab our redstone out of here. Look at that. Quest materials. Got everything we need in our inventory right now. Let's go ahead and hit claim on that. And before we do anything else, speaking of copper, I'm going to upgrade these furnaces. The faster we can smelt things, the faster we can progress. Let's go ahead and take our iron furnaces, surround them by copper, and here we go. Very nice. This is going to improve our efficiency quite a bit, which is very nice. Exactly what we needed. I don't know why this does that, but whatever. We're just going to go ahead and fill up these furnaces with a little bit of fuel that we got. Not a whole lot right now, but now I think continue going down this quest line a little bit. I want to check out this from dust to wires. Once we do that, we'll unlock some cool stuff like a steam dynamo. We can start getting into some energy conduits, and then we can really start making some electrical components that'll get us started. Let's go ahead and accept this quest. The goal, I don't know if we're going to get there this episode, but for sure next episode is we're going to get this primitive blast furnace up and running, because that's going to be the thing that's going to open up a lot for us. It's going to make us able to make steel, and then we can make all the LV power stuff that we're going to need. Start progressing in the LV age, which seems like a lot going on here if you can look at this quest book. Let's go ahead, check this dust to wires quest. What are we going to need? Okay, so we're going to need some dust. Copper dust, assuming we just take the copper ingots. Yeah, we don't have any machines that are going to do it for us, but we do have the mortar, which we can use. That's how we're going to turn copper into copper dust. So we just need to do 16 of those. Okay. Copper dust. 16 of it. Make sure it gets into our inventory so we can actually get the quest accepted. Put some redstone in there, put some tin in there and gold in there. I feel like we're going to need all this. Okay, so the copper's done. Red alloy. How do we make that? Okay, so it looks like we can take more copper dust and then redstone into red alloy dust. That's going to be the first recipe that we're going to have to make that. Looks like there's some more efficient ways to do that later on, but looks like we just got to shape or craft it right now with the redstone and the copper. Okay, so how many do we need? 16, so I'm going to need 16 more red alloy or copper dust. Very nice. Okay, now take the redstone recipe. Very nice. Now we have red alloy dust. We gotta make 16 of that. Very cool. Okay, select that recipe. Clear that out. Put that in our inventory. Okay. Now I assume we just gotta smelt that in the furnaces. Yep, very nice. Since we just upgraded our furnaces, this should go pretty quick. Very nice. I like that. All that smelting, it looks like we need iron dust. Shouldn't be too bad. We just gotta take iron. Boom. 32 iron dust. Oh, well, made 33. It's all right. Okay. We need that. Complete the quest. Alloy ingots are done. Conductive iron. How do we make that? Just more redstone, more iron. 32 of that. That's not the recipe, sir. There we go. Conductive iron. 32 of that. Very nice. Like that recipe as well. Okay. What is next? We gotta smelt that down. Easy enough. Really glad we got these furnaces upgraded because that is saving a lot of time. We're gonna need to make some plates as well. I think we just use the red alloy ingots for that. I think this is the best way we got right now is with the hammer. 8 red alloy plates, which is going to be all of our red alloy ingots that we made. Okay, and to make the wire, you take the plate and the iron and the wire cutter. Make the alloy wire. We're gonna lock the plate and the dust recipes in here. We're gonna have another one of these crafting stations for the wires, just to make it a little bit easier on us. But how many do we need? We only need 3 of them. So let's just make what we need first. Okay, red alloy wire. We just needed 3 of them. Very nice. And then the conductive iron wire. We need 16 of these. Which is just the conductive iron plate, which I think we just take all 32 of the conductive iron that we just smelted and turn all of it into plates. Should be good to go to make all of the wires we need. I want to go ahead and read this description. So it's an LV superconductor. And I think, based on what I remember, is the superconductor tags on these wires means that it doesn't lose any EU over distance, because in these packs, over distance, the longer cables you have, the more power it loses. So that's something you got to be conscious of, and that's one of the main reasons that made Gregtech so daunting for me, because I was like, that seems like a lot of stuff to manage. But I assume over time we'll get more comfortable with looking at that stuff and seeing the differences between different types of materials. But now that we're done with that, looks like this quest is completed. We are getting a Nomi quarter this time. Now that we got that stuff done, I think the last thing I want to get done before the end of this episode is I want to pretty up our little cave base a little bit. So I've got some stone and they're smelting, and I'm going to turn that into stone bricks, and I'm going to kind of break away this wall and get it prepared for a big glass window. So that's the plan. I'm going to make the walls all stone brick and make the front of this a big glass window, just so it doesn't feel like we're stuck in a cave for much longer. And then after I'm done with that, I think the plan is I'm going to make a few more storage crates and get those ready to be placed down. And we'll see you once I get going on that. Well, I think that'll do as far as prettying up the base a little bit. I also had some foliage outside to kind of make it look a little bit run down, a little bit lived in here. But I think it's a good start, and it gives us a little bit of room to expand out underneath of this if we'd like to, until we start doing some more complex builds in the future. Maybe repurposing a lot of these city buildings out behind us. But overall, I think it was a pretty productive episode. I feel like we got a lot done, and it set us up in a good spot to progress down that quest book and kind of make some steel and get us working into the LV age. So very, very, very exciting. Very exciting. Um, so I did some looking through the quest book, and more specifically, what I think we want to get done for the next episode is definitely make the primitive blast furnace. That's going to be a main thing that we need. Maybe even make a few of them. We'll see how much that costs to make and how slow or fast they are. But to make this LV power, which is our ultimate goal, is we got to make the conductive iron energy conduits, which takes material that we already have and some stuff that'll be super easy to gather. So I'm not super worried about that. Should be fairly simple. The thing we do have to do, though, in order to open this up, if you see here, it says Steam Dynamo, which is this quest line up here. So we're going to have to get into some fluid transport and see what that's like before we can unlock the LV power. But starting to look pretty close down here to the end, and I'm going to start getting into some really interesting stuff here. Yes, so I think that's a pretty good spot for today. I think we got a lot done, like I said, and really good spot going into the next episode. So if you enjoyed, go ahead and hit that like button if you want to stick around and see me progress through this. Slowly but surely, we're getting through it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And this has been Eagle. Peace.